internet?
I think cyberbullying is really bad, and I think people who do it are really stupid and like immature, and they need to really grow up, and I think it's really nasty.
I think it's like an easy way to bully someone, and like I think it should be stopped, but there's not much done about it at the moment because you can't really like track them all the time. It's say on like form spring or whatever when they do anonymous, and yeah, I just think it's wrong.
Cyberbullying is basically the same as any other form of bullying. It's a lazier form of bullying because you can do it anonymously. You can do it without, without there really being any consequences direct to you. You know, if someone feels depressed and ends up, hurting themselves over the comments they've received online, the person who's made those comments, there's a sort of sense of, they're disengaged from the actual comments themselves because they don't have to necessarily know the person they're making the comments about directly, and so they don't feel as bad if that person hurts themselves, I guess. But it's the same as any form of bullying, really.
My view of cyberbullying is that it's more like a secretive way of bullying. So if you do normal bullying, like on a playground or something, you push someone over and they come up with like cuts and scratches or whatever they come up with, it's more likely to be seen and obvious to other people. But with cyberbullying, it can be it's not as harmful as normal bullying can be, but it can be interpreted in like the same way. It's just as bad, I'd say.
I guess cyberbullying can be just as bad as any other form of bullying. However, because it's a recent development, it's probably not as well documented or taken as seriously as traditional forms of bullying, physical, emotional, verbal, etc. However, I imagine in a couple of years' time, cyberbullying will be given as much.
Every day, thousands of people become victims of bullying, but now there is a new form of bullying called cyberbullying. Nearly 1 in 4 teenagers have been a victim of cyberbullying. There are 140 million active Twitter users in the world. Facebook has been estimated as having 835.5 million worldwide users.
People don't communicate the same as they did. I understand that 80% of communication is non-verbal, and in that case, if we take the visual side away from it, you've only got 20%. That's how I see it.
Campaigns of harassment conducted via communications technology, such as the internet and mobile phones, is consistently estimated to affect around a quarter of secondary-age young people.
Sending mean messages or threats to a person's email.
Children are quite vulnerable as well.
More than 1 in 3 young people have experienced cyber threats online. Over 25% of adolescents or teens have been bullied repeatedly through their cell phone or the internet.
It's emotionless. It's not caring about anybody's emotions they're feeling. There's so many vulnerable people that are enticed into doing these things, and it's really quite scary.
It has become more common for people to create videos and upload them on YouTube as a cry for help. These are known as My Story. The most popular story was Amanda Todd, who suffered numerous accounts of cyberbullying and in the end uploaded video on YouTube and later committed suicide. It has become global, and it shows how powerful the internet is for helping as well as hindering. Hello, my name's Georgia, and this is my cyberbully story. It all started when I was 11 years old and I first got Facebook. My first status was probably, "Hey, I got Facebook." I was excited to upload my first picture, but I got mean comments like fat, ugly, whore and bitch. These carried on with every picture I did. When I was 14, I got Twitter. I'm not going to attempt to draw the bird because I can't. My first tweet was probably something like, "Woo, I got Twitter. Yep, I rate status not tweet because I'm stupid." Cyberbullying got worse, and I did a tweet saying, "Why does everyone hate me?" When I was 15, things were not better. Some girl from school in the year above wrote to me on Facebook saying, "Why did you tell my sister I smoke?" Which I replied, "I didn't." The next day, she found me after school and beat me up whilst her friends filmed and put it on Facebook. I then got Tumblr to express my emotions as no one at school had it. Then got depressed due to the bullying and became suicidal and cut myself and OD'd, but I didn't succeed. This bit's called Facebook. Someone created a fake Facebook account of a girl and tried to get guys to meet her and send them nudes. One day she got hit by a car. It turned out my friends made this account, but I got the blame. One day, once again I cut and OD'd. This is still going on, the cyberbullying and depression and self-harm. I now have depression, anxiety, OCD from it, and I now also suffer from eating problems. This is my cyberbully story, the end.
Only 1 in 10 teenagers tell a parent if they have been a cyberbully victim. Fewer than 1 in 5 cyberbullying incidents are reported to law enforcement. Teenagers aren't only responsible for cyberbullying. I received constant abuse from my mum all my life. She hit me, pushed me, grabbed me, shouted at me and blamed me for everything wrong. It got increasingly worse through the teenage years. I finally got away after frequent examinations and times of running away. You'd think it'd be all over then, but no. She still managed to make my life hell by sending me horrific messages via text and Facebook. These consisted of her blaming me for my granddad's depression, who was currently dying of terminal cancer. She called me names, said I was a liar and my whole family thought I was a disgrace and low. She said that my little brother, who was the closest thing to me, had forgotten me and she's going to tell him I walked out on him and I was evil. She then got all my family to comment on posts on my Facebook, calling me things and picking fights. And then she got her friends to message me saying what's wrong with me and how could you do such a thing. She then phoned me endless times, to which I'd never answer, so she would leave horrific voicemails. These included death threats. I then became seriously ill in hospital with toxic shock, and she sent me messages every day while I was in intensive care, saying it's better off without me, and saying why should anyone care anyway because I was selfish and a bitch. She also wrote tweets about me and would find me on every social network and make my life hell. I have low self-esteem and depression due to this, and it still carries on to this day. The end. However, there can be a way of seeking help. There are numerous charities set out to help victims of cyberbullying and in the end eliminate it. For example, Childline, NSBCC and Cybersmile.
Every year, more young suicides are related to online bullying. If you're being bullied, don't retaliate. It only ever makes things worse. For more advice, visit cybersmile.org.
So who is to blame? Parents, teenagers, or the creators of social networks?